So while I'm talking, I'm going to lay down my first coat of water. And I hope you can see there's a little bit of yellow in this, which was not on purpose. This is what happens when you don't wash your brushes. You guys know that I am terrible at not washing my brushes. So, okay, first question, do I want to go over top of these water drops, or do I want to leave some of them so that they will be white or whiter, and we'll see what happens with them later. I also don't know if we'll get all the way to the end where I do the water drops, because I'm hoping I can keep this tutorial under 45 minutes. So it's 8:05 now. What do you think? Can I do it? I don't know. We'll see how many people jump on. It's kind of late. It's getting close to Christmas, so that's okay. But I know most of you guys are going to watch this in the replay, so that's good. Yeah, so I hope you can see that. There's a little bit of yellow. Oh, perfect. You totally can. So, yes, I'm going to just lay out my water. I want to look on an angle and check that there's enough water covering. So when I come back with my color, let's see if I can get this a little more in shot for you guys. You can see what it's going to look like. There we go. Okay, so now let's spray our paints. Next big question, is there water in my, in my sprayer? Seems kind of important. And we have a few options here. I can work light to dark, or I can work dark to light. I think I'm going to put in some of the dark ones first, just because that's what I picked up. So this is ultramarine blue, and it's all nice and wet. So as I drop this in, it should blend out. So what I'm concerned with is that upper edge. That upper edge is super smooth. And please forgive me if I get quiet. How come I've only got one person watching? What's going on here? Did I miss a button? Is this not like all over my channel? This one person that's watching is also not saying anything, so I don't know who you are. That's all right. So, yeah, I want to slowly go across and make sure my upper line is nice and straight. And that's really important because this is where I'm marking out the outer surface. If I make that more of a feathered line, if it's all over the place, the final piece will not look 3D. It won't jump off the page the way I want it to. It won't look complete. Because obviously a true plant doesn't have feathered edges. So I'm going to wash my brush just a little bit and then blend this out. And if I've gone over anywhere, let's grab some tissue. I can just dab that right out because this upper part is going to be green. Now it doesn't actually matter because when this is green, the green will be darker and it'll cover. But just for now, let's say we'll keep it simple and kind of clean. Let's add some more blue in here. Now, I did not bring a palette today. All I brought are these two little travel palettes, but I didn't bring a mixer. So that will make it a little more complicated to mix my colors, which actually is a good thing. It means that I will have to mix them right here on the page, which will make it a little more interesting, I think, because I don't tend to do that. So I want to lay down that color, but I also want to pull across some darker, like shadows, highlights and shadows. And like I said, guys, this is going to be really simple. Working around some of these little dots, and you'll start to see them in a minute. I actually started this painting years ago, and it's been sitting in one of my boxes. When I moved, I packed everything up, and I kind of forgot about it. And then I was doing some cleanup a few days ago, and I realized, hey, I've never actually painted that. So that's such a beautiful sketch. I really thought that I should get around to finishing it. So let's add something. Let's use this as a palette. Make sure it's in the shot. It's not the best, but it's doable. I'm going to mix that with some red to get more of a purple. Really doesn't make any difference which type of red I use. If your palette is made up of all kinds of different reds, just pick your favorite red. And I want to blend this in because, of course, this is going to be an eggplant. It's very purple. It's actually a really good color. That worked really well. Okay, so part of the blending I'm doing is going back and forth. I'm actually kind of mixing right here. I'm not just pulling it across. And I want it to bleed, which is what this is, and mix in on its own. Let's pick up some more color. Maybe change it a little bit, make it a little redder. So I'm sorry I missed last week. I still need to work on scheduling so you guys actually know when I'm doing this because, you know, it's only been, what, my 4th time at this, I think, doing the live stuff, and it would really help if I could schedule it because I get so many comments afterwards that say that they missed it and they're sorry they missed it, they wish they didn't miss it, so I'm very sorry about that. I will be working on that in the future. It's a little complicated. Excuse me. It's a little complicated because I have to come into Ottawa in order to do them, so I don't always know when I'm going to be here, and if I do set a time, that is terribly, terribly stressful, as I'm sure you can imagine. But it is the way it is. So anyway, in the future, I hope this is okay. It's certainly good for me because I have less editing. So I don't mind if you guys want to just comment in the comments and miss the live, that's okay too. So I'm just mixing. I'm adding the blues, I'm adding more reds, going back and forth and adding these colors in. I'm also going to tap it a little bit here. And I want it to blend. I'm just going to let it do its thing nice and naturally. So I think that looks pretty good. Let's add a few more drops in here to make it more interesting. I'm going to wash my brush and this part in the middle, can you guys see that? That's really pretty. I think I might just leave that. Add some more water down here. Keep an eye on the time. So how is your Christmas? Are you enjoying all that Christmas has to offer? Somehow I kind of missed it. I watched a few Christmas movies back in November and turned on some Christmas music a little bit in early December, and then the last few weeks I felt like, I don't know, like it's just completely passed me by. I didn't pay any attention. So now we have visitors for Christmas, and that makes life interesting. And it certainly makes working really complicated. I want to turn this a little bit. There we go. Which explains why I have to try to do this in less than 45 minutes because that particular visitor happens to be here at my brother's with us, and I can't keep them waiting forever. So that's okay. So I'm laying down more water and I'm allowing the pink to move into it. This will all be the undertone. It's really not going to matter. It's just going to kind of add a very subtle base. I think, I'm not sure if you can see it, but some of those colors are moving in there. And then I'll come back with some other colors like the blue. And it helps if I can see my line. I'll just pull that across. And if you mess up, your options are to repair that spot, widen the line, which is what I'm doing right now because I went over just a smidge, or you could just leave it and try to take the paint out. Now I don't recommend doing that too often, especially if you have really poor paper, or maybe amateur paper. I am going to come back though and make that line perfect because I think I've got a dent in here I don't like. Hey, but it's an eggplant. We'll call it organic, and then it can look any way it wants, right? Let's add more blue. That's interesting. How do I do this in less than 45 minutes? I don't even know if that's possible. Because the one, you know, what am I trying to say? As soon as I start, I get into it, right? And then it's more of a, no, I need to spend time on this, I need to spend time on that. I can see it already, how this would become very complicated and very intense, this little piece. But we're going to avoid doing that. Maybe I'll come back to it. I don't know, maybe I get the whole thing done. But if I can't, maybe I'll come back to it in a new tutorial. See if I can tackle it a little more. So I want to make more of these purple colors. I've already got my red over here. You guys can see that, awesome. And I'm going to mix the red with some more blue just to brighten up the red. Now somebody had asked me recently, do you see how that color here, the color just, I picked up the blue and I put it in the red and now I'm coming over here. I was asked recently why I do that, why I'm dirtying up my palette. I don't actually care. I'm not picky about my palette. I'm not picky about keeping all my colors sort of perfectly clean. I will show you. Oh, John would have a heyday with this one, but I will show you in a future tutorial. You guys know I'm known for that, right? How I clean my palettes. It's not really something I can do right now because it would require more time. And I just want to paint this little picture. But there is a way to just gently use your brush and kind of get to the root of your color, quick and simple, without worrying about what else is in there if you need a pure color. I think for the most part, pure colors are overrated. I don't believe in mud, that's another thing. The idea that if you mix too many colors, you end up with mud. I think that one is also, it's a tricky one. A lot of people say it. A lot of YouTubers say, oh, if you do this, you'll end up with mud. Oh, if you do that, you'll end up with mud. And sometimes it feels like what they're saying is you'll end up with too much brown, which is true. Not too much, but it is true that if you mix all three primary colors, you'll end up with brown. But then, is that a bad thing? I don't think that's a bad thing. Brown is good. Now, if you mix too many colors and you end up with a flat color, that makes a lot more sense. If we stop calling it mud and instead we call it flat. So there's so many different tones within that color that it just kind of falls apart and becomes a mess. Becomes an unrecognizable mix of muddy colors, right? But there, the word muddy, it doesn't make sense. I think brown. And that is not what I'm going for. So whenever I mix multiple colors, anyway, how did I get into this topic? That's my opinion on mud. And you can see something really pretty here. These colors are separating. These are hand-ground watercolor paints by A. Gallo, who is a watercolorist and a paint maker in Italy. And I can tell, one of the things that's really neat about hand-ground paints is you see up here how the paint is pulling apart. It's giving this natural texture. The reds are kind of coming apart into dots. The blues are coming into dots. This is because it's granulating. And it's not the only reason, but one of the reasons why paint tends to granulate when it's handmade is because it's not being ground up by a machine. So when you grind paint with a machine, it's mechanical, right? You're able to grind it into super, super, super tiny particles. But when you grind it by hand, it's an amazing process, and I need to do a tutorial and show you guys how to do that. But I will soon. But you're not going to get those micro, tiny particles. Instead, you're going to get larger particles so that when you add it to water, the particles float to the surface, they kind of come back together, and they create this granulated effect, or like a spotty, broken, almost marbly effect. And I'm not seeing it here I mean, I am seeing hair, but I'm not seeing hair in the, like, it almost looks like the paper is just getting a little weird, which it isn't. It's actually granulating. But over here, you can really see how the reds, and I need to zoom in, guys. I just have to show you this because it's kind of important. So, do you see that? How the reds are coming apart here, and the blues are coming apart. It's becoming scaly. Let's zoom back out. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry. I think, well, hold on. The only thing I want to do is maybe switch brushes so I have a better point, because this is a Zen brush in case anybody's curious. The Zen brushes, I believe, are $4 or $5 each, or $4.99 or $3.99. Anyway, Canadian, which is incredibly cheap. I don't know what they are in America. They're pretty good quality brushes in that they don't fall apart. For something I'm only paying $4 for, I'm pretty impressed. This one is a Rosemary & Co. brush, and it's the Rosemary & Co. triangle. The triangle is off to the side, or the point is off to the side. It's not in the middle. And this is size 8 from the Series 40. I love this brush, but if you guys watch my tutorials, you know that. It's got an amazing point, and it holds a lot of water, so I can do all kinds of fun things with it. And I'm starting to think that I didn't actually hit the live button, because, okay, give me 1 second. No one is watching, and that is just not normal. My mouse does not like a glass surface. Let's see if I plop that there. Maybe if I refresh, will that work? Will that mess my thing up? Okay, I hope this doesn't actually mess anything up. Okay guys, I'm still here. Not that you're there. So hold on, let's go to my channel and turn off my volume. And you know what? I'm going to jump over here for a quick second, and I'm going to put you onto the cover image. All right. So I need to write this down now. We are at 24:37 is where I'm going to start painting again. Okay, well, the good thing is that in the amount of time it's taken me to figure this out and realize that I was doing a live stream in private mode. Maybe I need dinner. Yes, in that time, I have actually allowed this to dry. So let me just quickly summarize for you guys. I have put down the water, and I put some color into that. I've let it merge all around. It's looking really good. Feel free to let me know who you are if you are watching this, because I'm feeling all alone at the moment. What is going on? Okay, so I want to do the top. This is somewhat dry. This part is still wet, this part's still wet, but this whole inner part is dry, and it's really pretty. I want to do the top, yes. I also need to do something about these little guys. These are my little water drops, and I think they should be slightly more formed. I didn't do much of that in the beginning. So I'm going to add something around them, just a little bit. Okay. Hey, am I actually live? Are you guys actually watching? Yes, this has been quite the experience. And you'll know all about it if you watch the replay after I edit the first 20 minutes, because that was a disaster. So I'm just adding some water around the drops, just a little bit to kind of clean up. They're going to be water drops, although they don't look like them yet. So I need a tissue again. Okay. And then How's that possible? Oh, well. There's a little bit of blue here. You see that? Pull that out. You know, I told my brother it was only going to take 45 minutes, and he was like, yeah, right you are. Sure. It's kind of funny now that I'm at 27 and, well, it's looking okay. Okay, I've got a really strong line here, and I can lift it out just by rubbing or pulling the brush gently along that. There we go. And now I want to work on the green. Excuse me. So, I don't have the legend for this, so we're just going to go with the idea of this green. Or maybe I'll make it using some blue. And I need a mixer brush. It'd be great if I didn't almost have a cold. Hold on one quick second. Hey, so let me know who you are, where you're from, what's going on. And I'm going to grab my mixer and I'm going to move this over so you can see it. I'm going to mix up this green, which is earth green. It's probably totally wrong. Where's our reference? Oh yes, it's under my mouse. Okay, Instagram keeps popping up. Can you tell? So if anybody knows me and they're watching, don't send me any private messages because it's going to pop up in a live chat or tutorial. This is earth green. It's a beautiful color, and I can show you that here. I'll use the side of this one. So that's what that's going to look like. And then we also have this one, which is Verdaccio, and it's pretty much like earth green. It's very, very, very similar. It's just a little darker. These are also honey-based handmade paints, so they're going to have, they're very, very granulating, which is okay because that's going to look really good in this piece. Okay, so not using my mixing brush, let's grab a brush with a good point, and we're going to add a little bit of green up here. Now, in this particular piece, I just want to lay on a little bit because we're trying to keep it nice and quick. And I want to work around the whites. So I'm kind of using the side of the brush, doing a little bit of brush footprints and a little bit of dry brushing. Not really, but definitely brushing with the side in order to get this beautiful, beautiful mark. And now I want to come down here. I don't normally like doing this where you leave and then you fill it in. It feels like paint by number, but it works. So, see if we can get more of these greens. And we can also mix one just by adding some blue. Let's jump to the brush, some blue, maybe some red. Oops. And I want to take that very tiny little point, come way down here, and just draw on this little detail, which is really pretty. You know how in eggplants they have those little bits of the ends that are kind of going off in all directions? They're actually the leaves, or the stem, bits of stem. But it's really cute. It looks like a little hat. And then slowly working our way up. Now, staying true to me, we're going to put lots of little lines in here. But not lots of little lines like last time. I know last time was a little crazy. Hello, Cara. Nice to see you. I started this about 20 minutes ago, and it turned out that I was doing it in private mode, so that is why you're only seeing what you're seeing, and I guess if you guys go back you can see the beginning, but I'm going to have to edit it because in the middle I kind of decided to find out why no one was around. And anyway, I'll fix that later. So I'm just pulling some color when I, same as the other one. I want to make sure that outer layer is nice and straight and crisp. And I don't want to do it too slow because I don't want to bore you guys. And then coming back with color, I'm just going to pull using the side of my brush, pulling straight down to kind of get like an odd organic swiping motion. And then here again. Now, what I'm after is there are little lines. You kind of see that here. There are lines in here. There's different direction that the stem goes in, or the stem goes in different directions, and I need to be able to highlight the shadows. No, I'm not using a reference photo. I actually use a reference, what is this called? Eggplant, when I sketched this out, and I did this as my rough painting. So I guess that is a reference in that I know what color it is. But no, I'm not actually using a reference photo. That would be a good idea. But when I work on something, I tend to do first a sketch, a tonal sketch, and then a detailed sketch and a shadow and highlight sketch, and then I come back and do like a really like actual drawing of the item, not just a quick sketch or a quick study, and then I'll do a painting like the one you just saw, this little study. And then I come back and do the real thing. So by the time I'm doing this, I feel like I know what I'm doing. I feel like I've seen the piece, I've turned it over enough times, I have an idea of what it looks like. So it's kind of, you know, ingrained in my head. And I picked one up a few days ago and thought about buying it and bringing it home, but it's kind of out of season, so I felt like I would just go with my reference with all the bits and pieces I'd already put together. So I'm going to rotate this, see if it's still in your view. Hold on, guys, I'm moving it. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to come back and forth, and I want to keep that white as much as possible. Just drawing in a few lines because there are a lot of lines here. It won't take too long because we're going for a loose piece. Not not a 4-hour-long live tutorial like the last one or the one before that. Although I had a lot of fun. Today I've been warned. Keep it short. Okay, so a few other of you guys have joined and found me. Hey, how you doing? Tell me what's up. Where are you watching from? Have you ever painted an eggplant? Do you have any questions? I have not put together my questions and answers. I have a whole bunch of questions. They're just there at home and I need to formulate them, and then I will go through and do some of that. But today we're just painting a nice little eggplant, and right now I'm doing way too much talking, so I'm slowing down. So I need to paint more, talk less. Although if I don't talk at all, some of you will disappear. I know that. I figured that out. So we're just using 2 greens over here. We're mixing them. I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber. Yes, I'm going to add some burnt umber to this mix and some blue. And maybe some yellow. It's actually green, it's blue and yellow. This little yellow guy here does not. Doesn't have a magnet on the back. So yellow, blue, there we go. Quinacridone gold and blue, or quinacridone gold and what did I just say? Burnt umber would make a really beautiful green. Have you guys ever tried that? Tell me in the comments below or right now. Yeah, so how I'm getting the color off here, I know that I'm making a big mess. Oh, you guys can't see that. Sorry. There we go. I'm making a big mess. But the more I go back and forth, I'm actually getting down to the true color. Or at least I'm getting close enough, so in this moment it doesn't bother me at all. I just need to pick up a little bit of yellow. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. Sorry guys, working off camera. What am I thinking? Okay, now figure out where we are. And we're gonna add, but you know what? It's good that I did all that mixing though, because this is dried just a little bit, so now I can come back with my lighter green and add some of these highlights. There's way too much paint on my brush at the moment, so I want to take some of the water off. I don't want to take the paint off, but I want to take the water off. So if I tap it like this, down at the base of the hairs down here, I'm able to get some of that water to come off without losing the paint at the end. And again, we're going to add lots of little lines. Now I want to consider, where is my shadows and where are my highlights? So I've got, my Instagram keeps showing up. I haven't quite figured out how to use this, this program. But I promise, eventually, it'll work. Just not right now. So, so just add a little more water in there and a little more yellow. And that's going to lighten the color. I want to fill that in and maybe even do this entire part over here in one big swoop. Or two big swoops. Fill it in. Okay, and voila. And I'm also going to add a little bit of light way over here. Turn the whole thing around. And I want to paint, check if the rest of it dry yet. I don't want to touch it. Paint way over here. There we go. Sorry, gotta concentrate. Please excuse my coughing. And I'm gonna come around the back now that we've already got one layer on here. If I paint it again, it's gonna be a little thicker. And this is where it might get crazy, because the problem with me and the way I paint is the more I do this, the darker the paint will get, the more realistic the piece will get, the longer the tutorial will be. Yes, the longer the tutorial will be, and I don't want to make this super, super long today, so. But it does need more color. You can tell, right? It looks, where is it? There it is. It looks a little cartoony, I think. So we're gonna have to add a few more tones. I'm just gonna toss them in. Like so. And then I'm going to lift out if I don't like it, or if I want more of a highlight. And also to keep those little bleed marks going the right direction, because I don't want it to spread out. I want it to stay a little more controlled, unlike down here where it kind of went all crazy. What is going on with that? Okay. Okay, so coming back with some yellow, let's just gently add a little bit of detail. And down here. And way down here. I hope my hand's not in the way. And again, every time I do this, it's just going to get a little thicker and a little more intense, which is good. And let's also add some yellow up here. Maybe a few dots on the edge. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. What do you guys think? At least the green. The rest of it's pretty, but it's still the wrong color. Alright, so using a brush and some water. I don't know, I could totally stop it there. How long has this been? Hey, thanks for the thumbs up. You guys are so sweet. This isn't telling me how long it's been, so I don't know. Okay, so let's add some more purple. Can't use that one now, it's covered in yellow, and I don't want to clean it. Using this little palette, I'm going to lift some blue and some red, maybe more of both, because I want to make this thicker. Okay, I'm going to do that differently. I'm going to use my mixer brush. Oh, that's so much better. There we go. And I think we'll take this lighter red. This is vermilion red. And the other one is permanent carmine. Of course, now it's mixed with blue. I'm going to mix that with a little bit of blue to get these two tones. I'm not sure I really like the second one, but yeah, that's a good purple. I think next time we do a live, I'll bring more paint. And what are we going to do now? Let's add more onto the bottom. This is wet on dry. Just want to be nice and careful going around the base. And I don't want to lose too much of this pink and lighter tone in the center. I like that. So what I'll do is rinse my brush, turn the whole thing around. We're definitely going to have to come back and add more dark on here. Turn the whole thing around, and let's even come back with a different brush that has no paint on it at all and not so much water. And maybe clean water. And I'm going to brush the clean brush along the edge and let that kind of soften. And in order to not get a line, I'm going to pull it all the way out, like so. This little bulge doesn't work for me. You guys can probably see that. But I don't know if I want to fix it right now. It would require bringing the whole thing up here, which is complicated because I can't really add purple there. That's got to be green. So what if I bring this out? Okay, that's better. Just for the fun of it, let's add a few little lines up here. Make that a little fatter. Okay, that's improving. Great. Pinterest. Could you go away, Pinterest? Lovely. And then I'm going to actually have to bring this purple down to match that. But if I do it right now, the green will blend, will bleed out, and it will make a huge mess. Hello, Sarah the Dreamer. How are you doing today? So I'm going to turn it over and come back with another mixture of blue and purple, because that's really what we're doing. We're just layering those colors on. And every time we do, you can see that they're getting significantly darker, right? I don't want to go all the way because I don't want to touch the green. But I do want that deeper dark color. It's okay if the top is, whoops, not enough water on there. It's okay if the top is kind of pinky and looking more cartoonish in the middle, as long as I have something on here that is going to represent the true color. There we go. For some reason my brush didn't want to make a straight line. Yeah, it still doesn't want to make a straight line. Come on, brush. Get with the program. That's better. And every time I'm going, I'm adding more paint, not water. If I add water, oops, to this mixture. Oh, thanks. Oops. That's not supposed to be there. If I add water, I'll end up with blooms or runbacks, right? The cauliflowers, I've talked about cauliflowers in lots of classes, and there's lots of videos on it. I would tell you to go watch them if you're not sure what a cauliflower is, but I will definitely forget to put a card about a cauliflower in, so I won't tell you that I'm going to put a card of a cauliflower in because I will forget and I won't do it anyway. Just being honest. I'm terrible with cards. Have you guys noticed? Especially in the live tutorials. Okay, so let's go back. And we want to bring that out. Bring it up. And I'm using the side of my brush to do this, which is why I'm getting some of these lovely lines. Yeah, you can see them, right? So it's giving a little bit of a texture. Now I don't have a reference photo. This is entirely from my head and from the research that I've done. If I had a reference photo, I would add in, this is another one, this is a study I did, and you can see here it's got more of some hard lines, which is where the reflections are. Because I don't have one with me, I don't know where the reflections are, and I don't really want to just jump in and put them in here, but I will finish it. I will go buy an eggplant, I guess. And then set up the lighting and see, because there's going to be like itty bitty little lines or, you know, smudges or marks or problems, blemishes, that's the word I want, blemishes. And they would be, you know, little lines here, but I don't want to just throw it in. I feel like it would be better if I take the time to go get one and look at it. You know, study the live one first. So I want to go around some of these again. maybe here as well. And then let's come back on that with some water so it smooths out. Now I don't want to lose the pink altogether. So, sorry. Turning. Let's bring in more. Let's work on the top. Now, the key here is, depending on how realistic you want the piece to be, you want to add more and more and more layers. So, let's say from 1 to 10, 1 being the beginning, just a basic wash, which is very pretty, but it's very simple. All the way up to 10 being an image that looks like a photo, or at least the colors are as true and thick as a photo. Excuse me, I feel like I'm losing my voice here. Somewhere in there, within that range, we can stop. We can stop anywhere, and wherever we stop, that will be our style, right? So if you say, I like it medium, I like it at number 7, I like it at number 3, I like it somewhat realistic, but not really, I like it more illustrative. Yeah, I think that any painting can be brought to a photo-like image or painting simply by continuing. Just keep going, just add more layers, keep working it, keep adding those layers. If you do it when it's dry, so you're not layering the layers on top of wet paint, you won't mud up your picture. You won't end up with a damaged image. Where you've overworked it. I think overworking happens because we do too many layers when it's wet. So I think I'm going to do this one more time because I'm definitely catching a cold. I don't want to cough on you guys. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to just add a little bit around the bottom. And as I remember, the bottom has more of an indent and lines. So and that's actually a water drop, not the end. Okay, what do you guys think? Can I comfortably say this is finished? How long have you been doing this? I don't even know. It's really pretty. I have a very limited palette, so I can't really do anything else. And soften that a little bit. I will finish the water drops and put the final on Instagram. If you guys haven't already seen me on Instagram, it's Instagram/Scarlett Damen. Please come over there and check me out, or join me or find me on Instagram. It's always nice to see you guys, to recognize your names on Instagram. And also that's where this image will be. You can also follow me on Patreon, of course, Patreon/Scarlett Damen as well. And you know, we're going to take one extra second here, and I'm going to finish this little part right there. Oh yes, that's so much better. Isn't it funny how the tiny, tiny bits are what kind of drives us crazy? Okay. Now for the water drops, I could just give it like a shine. Because I just want to suggest them. And the paper is actually way too wet right now to do this. But that's okay. Okay, voila, I think I'm finished. Of course, I'm never finished, so, you know, stop touching the piece. Put the brush down, woman. Ay, 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 ay. I just feel like it's a little flat. That's better. And is that better? What watercolors? I am using, these are handmade watercolors from A Gallo, and these are her natural set, and this is the primary set, I think, and this is the natural set. So here, they're from A Gallo. I think I just dropped something on my painting. And they're made in Italy. I do have a few things about them on my channel, so you guys are more than welcome to check it out. I haven't done a full-blown review, although Sandy Saves the Day has done a huge review, so I kind of feel like she's already done it. What's the point? She did a monster review on Alina's paints. And if you guys don't know Sandy Saves the Day, Sadie Saves the Day, I think. Her reviews are fantastic. I highly recommend watching her stuff if you haven't. Yeah, so these are handmade paints, and they come from Italy, and I like them. It's a very limited palette today, so it's not like I can do too much. Because I knew, I had to come into Ottawa in order to do this, and I thought I would just do something really simple, so I just brought these two little palettes with me, my brushes, and my travel kit, which is this one, which you guys have probably seen before. It's the travel kit, and it holds my brushes, a little book, some paper, a water container, and the two little palettes, and I absolutely love it. I have a review on this, so if you guys are interested, you can totally, go check out the review. It's pretty cool. The palette. I don't know if the review is any good. Not the palette, sorry, the travel kit. Anyway, I think this is done. I'm quite happy with it. I'm going to sign it. 2018. Voila. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. This tutorial might be marked as private for a few minutes because I have to fix the whole beginning, because the first 20 minutes I filmed it under private, so I need to fix that, and some things happened, so I have to cut them out, and then I'll make it public for all of you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Do give me a thumbs up, it's always nice. Look, I have a whole bunch right now, and I'm very happy. It makes me really happy. Really? Now everybody comes? That's hilarious. I'm done.